Hello, we're back for another one at Lime Rock Park this time. As you can see, I am starting 6th. I think there was a 30 car field for this race, if I remember correctly, 29, 28, somewhere in that neighborhood. We had 35 cars sign up for the weekend, and I think only 28 or 29, like I said, somewhere in that neighborhood took the green flag at the start of this race. So, very slow start, and I anticipated it well. I started in 2nd gear. No, I didn't jump the start. I was just able to get right by those guys. I think they were starting in 3rd gear, which is, that start was too slow for 3rd. So right up to 3rd place from 6 into turn 1. Can't be unhappy with that. Going to see how we do here. This is a very drafty track, a lot of draft. You can leave a gap like this, like I have right now, and you'll catch right up to them. No problem. There's not a ton of passing opportunities here. It's basically turn 1, the left-hander if you're lucky. But the rest of the track, you kind of stay in line, because if you try to go side by side, you end up just slowing yourself down a lot. You'll get eaten up. So you can see I'm already catching the car in front of me. That's Chase Johnson with Gerard Owen in front of him. Gerard Owen is in a new car this year that is an absolute rocket ship. He has some unfortunate issues in this particular race, but he gets it sorted out and ends up winning the following 2 races after this one. Pushed a little bit wide there, missed the apex, lost a little bit of time, but like I said, with all this draft, it's not going to make any difference at all. Catch right back up. What you're not seeing is the lead pack has about 10 cars in it right now, if I remember correctly. It's a big pack of cars, and just about every lap here for the first half of the race anyway. We're going into turn 1, 4 or 5 wide every lap. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking seeing cars on your left, cars on your right, in your mirrors going into turn 1. But snaking back and forth, trying to defend, trying to block a little bit, but there's no point. Everybody's just going to go for it. As you can see, the track is wet. It did rain earlier in the day, and I was hoping it was going to rain for the race, but it dried up, and we were all standing around wondering if we were going to put on slicks or go to rains. But it dried up nicely and quickly, actually, so there was no question by the time the race time came. It was a slick track, obviously. You can see Gerard kind of got another gap there, but by the end of the straightaway, we'll be closed right back up on him. There's no running away at Lime Rock Park in a Formula V. Again, he's snaking, weaving, trying to break that draft. Just Chase with a big head of steam. That again, I go a little wide there, missed the apex, slowing me down. But again, I'll just catch right back up in this draft. So just like the last video, we're on top of the roll bar this time. Like, it's not my favorite perspective. I 3D printed a new camera mount, and so I'm trying it this weekend on top of the roll bar, and I think I'd really like to switch back to the other mount. It's just a pain to take the bodywork on and off. You have to take the other mount off every time. Not that I'd have to do that often, but this mount being, it makes it easier to get to the camera, it makes it easier to take the bodywork on and off. It's just simpler. But I can't see my hands or the gauges, and that's frustrating. I like to see that stuff, see how much I'm working the wheel. You can get an idea on the tires, but there's nothing like seeing the driver's hands. Alright, finally, find the apex there. Pull a tear off. Things are getting greasy out there. Doing a lot of lifting and coasting when you're behind another driver like that going into West Bend. Going up the hill, going in just about every corner here. When you're behind somebody, you always feel that you're faster because you're doing so much lifting. But it's all because of the draft. You just feel like you're faster. And once you get in front, the person you thought you were faster than is just right on your tail doing the same thing. Coming up to some lap traffic already in this race. And this is always difficult because you're forced to be pretty aggressive with the lap traffic because you don't want to lose any positions. You don't want to lose time. And that was a little tight because I had Chase on my left there, but I'm pretty sure he had backed out of it by the time I got up to that car. Again, I wish I could see in the mirror, but see, if two cars break away and you get stuck behind lap traffic and you've lost their draft, you're going to be in trouble. Your race is more or less over to those two cars unless they get stuck behind traffic again. Look at Gerard's car dancing a little bit. It is sliding, but I think he's got a little bit more to figure out with the setup on this car. I think it's rotating a little bit too much, but it looks like it's got a loose push. And by that I mean the rear end gets loose, but then when it grips back up, it looks like the front end pushes a little bit. And I'm not in love with the way the car looks like it's handling. Who knows? It's probably fast. He's used to wheeling a car that has ill handling characteristics, so that's fine. Look at that beautiful green machine. I'm keeping him pinched all the way to the right there for a little bit, and I'll move to the left. Get set up for turn one. Get through cleanly, and we are leading the race. For the moment, anyway. Always feels good to have no traffic in front of you. No worries, just concentrate on hitting the line. In the distance, another lap car is coming up, and I'm probably thinking to myself right now, uh-oh, I'm going to catch them in the left-hander, or in some unideal spot. Let's see. He just stays to the outside, waves us by, lets us go. That's nice. This is the 60th anniversary of Sam Posey's debut racing at Lime Rock Park, and so he was there they had a special awards ceremony for the Sunday morning, or excuse me, Saturday morning. This was a Friday-Saturday race instead of Saturday-Sunday. For the Sunday morning race, in his honor, we had special trophies, a podium celebration with a short interview for the drivers, and the announcer was there on Saturday announcing for both race sessions. Tyler Reynolds giving me a little helmet tap saying follow me, let's get away from these guys. Trust me, I'd love to. Trust me, I would love to. A plan is always good to have, but with this much draft, it's anybody's game. And I can't see behind me at the moment. I don't remember exactly, but I believe there's still almost a 10-car pack in this front section. It's easy to hold on with the draft. So you can see in turn one, Tyler had a much better line. I backed out of it a little bit because I was afraid of him sliding up, and that left this huge gap that I have to make up. But again, I'll just draft right up to him on the front stretch here. I think I'm defending now instead of actually drafting. Defending against the big Zen up the inside. So I had to take the entry tight. I got into third gear a little earlier than I would normally. And you'll see Tyler his car is a little loose this weekend. If you'll ask me, my opinion is that the rear end of that car is just rotating a little too nicely. And that ends up costing him this race, well, at least a chance at the win, for sure. Because he's driving fast, loose is fast, but look at the rear end of that car just yaw around the corners. And it's got too much yaw. Every corner it seems to just have that slide, and it's just a little too much slide. A little over rotation, if you ask me. See, it's just sliding nicely around that corner. It looks nice sometimes. Cars in the pack ahead of us touch the outside dirt there, left a little smoke cloud. See that in iRacing all the time. It's nice to know that it is real life. It matches exactly what happens. Again, Marty, I'm sorry, but I gotta stick with Tyler. I can't get stuck behind you in this corner, so just gotta stay with him on the inside. That was Marty that we passed. Come up on John Ferreira. And we got a big run. I can use these lap cars as somewhat of a pick. If I go all the way inside, I don't think Tyler had enough room to make that, so he had to let me go. And just like that, we're back in the lead for the moment anyway. You really want to stay in the lead, as I said earlier, at least in the front couple, because at some point, somebody's going to make a mistake, or lap traffic will just come up at a really inopportune time and split the pack. And as long as you're in the front half of that pack, or in the front part of the pack, they get split away, you'll be okay. So it's a very different racing experience than some of the other tracks we go to. So you have to be a little bit more aggressive with staying in the front. It's a little bit more of a street fight than a chess match, because you need to stay in the front. And with the draft, everybody's got a chance. Chase points me by. He knows I have a run. Go to the inside here. We're back up behind Tyler Reynolds. And I believe it's not this lap, but he's going to have a very exciting moment coming up soon. Probably the next lap. The top of the hill is very exciting, even in Formula V. The car gets light, and if you're not straight enough, the rear end will step out just a hair, and you'll even hear the tires spin up. The engine RPMs go up for just a second as the rear end gets loose and up in the air. So a little bit of a jump. And here we go, Tyler. Coming around that lap traffic, had to stay a little tighter, a little off his line. Tried to force the car more to the left and stay on the gas. Just ended up over-rotating it. Luckily, I was able to get around him. He kept the brakes locked, which, as you should do. The old saying, when you spin, put 2 feet in your clutch and your brake and just hold it, because the car is much more predictable when you're not rolling around backwards or spinning around and rolling in odd directions that nobody's expecting. So put the brakes on, stop the car, let people drive around you, and that is scary. But here we go, the white flag, and I've not gotten away with anything since Tyler spun. It's only me and Justin that got around that cleanly without having to slow down very much. So right now it's a 2-car breakaway. It's me with Justin right behind me in that gray citation you just saw on the left side of your screen. There's Tyler off to the side of the track. He ended up getting tagged by another driver and doing a little bit of damage. Nothing major. They got it repaired, but he pulled off to the side of the track to just get out of the way and let the race finish. So here we are at the last lap. I'm in the lead, which is the place you don't want to be, but we're going into West Bend. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lift and slow down more than normal. And I'm watching my mirror, and that causes Justin to have to slow down. And as soon as he came up to my rear bumper and slowed down, I got back on the gas. So it created a gap between us, so he couldn't get the run on the front straightaway here. He still gets a run, because it's, you know, Formula V, and he's actually beside me. You can't see it in the mirror or in the camera right now, but he is beside me. He finished behind me by less than a tenth, if I remember correctly. So there he is. We got the checkered flag, and we're on our victory lap. So it was a good win. That was a hard-fought win. There was a huge pack behind me. I wish I had a rear-view camera so you guys could see more of it. It got pretty crazy. So, victory lap, and as I mentioned, this is a Sam Posey weekend. Oh, there's Tyler off to the left, waving his hand, waiting for his tow truck to come get him. And oh, during this victory lap, I've never driven the chicane at Lime Rock Park, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a shot. So here we go. I'm trying the chicane at West Bend on the victory lap. Quick little chicane action. It was pretty slippery. Glad I didn't spin it and do something stupid while I was out there. But that's it. Thanks for joining me for this race at Lime Rock. I might put up the other race videos. We'll see without commentary. I'll just put up the videos on my YouTube channel, so check those out. And enjoy the rest of this footage. I have some pictures and some thanks for my sponsors, iRacing, definitely, Coyote Racing, John VanDeCar Race Prep. So we'll see you at the next one.